Well, let me ask you about this. If you're alone on an island, you have to work to survive, right?
What?
So if you're alone on the island and you have to work to survive, you're not going to be as well off as if there were someone there who could be your employer and offer you a job. Who's already got a system that's established.
What?
And you can just easily walk into that and earn a wage.
Wait a second. I'm alone on the island, but there's a boss there?
Who's going to determine my wage?
Your life would be much easier if there were an employer to help you out.
You know what would be even more?
Wait a second.
That's such punk energy, dude.
If I'm alone, wait. You're saying my life on the island would be easier if I was working for an employer on the island alone.
How much do you love your boss, Dan?
Can we just talk about Robinson Crusoe for a second?
We talked a few weeks ago about objectivism. I don't know. You know that call?
Okay.
Yes, we know that call.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Oh, you're the guy who has the fertility issues.
What were your thoughts on the Sam Seder debate?
I think it was a difficult situation, obviously. I don't think that it could have gone much better in the current way it was set up. You basically had two people there trying to kind of essentially make fun of you, not if they wanted to like not let you talk and ask you questions to then like lead you into some sort of saying some sort of ridiculous answer. They would have let you do that. If you would have started debating with them, then they probably would have tried to shut you down, or the third person would have done research in the background and made it very difficult on you. So I think that kind of setup isn't like a place to have an honest discussion or an honest debate in general. But what were your thoughts?
So you mentioned the point that it's not really the place to have an honest debate.
No.
And I think that might be right. However, I'm not sure that means it's not good to debate Sam Seder or other people like Sam Seder. So I think one way to look at it is that as an advertisement. So I'm not primarily there to engage with Sam as an end in itself. Like I'm not going to convert Sam. I don't expect to change his mind or the mind of many people in his audience, but he's got over 1 million subscribers. You know, it's a lot of people who are seeing his content. So my hope is to reach a lot of those people, and maybe some of them are more honest. I'm not making a claim about anyone's honesty, but I think it's perhaps there are more honest people in the audience who would be open to other ideas, and it's a way to reach those people going on these platforms that have large audiences. And I did get quite a large uptick in subscribers after I went on to Sam's show, much more than I usually get. I've got about, right now, I think I have 287 subscribers, and that was up from like 250 something, I think, when I went on the show. So it went up, I think it went up about 30 subscribers very soon after the show, maybe partly as a result of me going on various other, like on Facebook, to let all my friends, Facebook friends, know about the appearance. Maybe I don't know where these subscribers were coming from, but I got a nice little uptick. So I'm not so concerned about the hosts. I mean, I guess if he was so bad, you got to draw a line somewhere. And maybe there's some hosts where I wouldn't go on the show at all, but I didn't think Sam was so bad that it's not worth the potential benefits of going on his show. So that's kind of how I think about that.
I could appreciate that from the outside, it could seem like a good publicity thing to go on his show and try to get like a few minutes in. I think though that he wasn't very charitable with your appearance.
Yeah, I think at least certainly in parts, I think of that debates. So I've called 3 times now. And the one we're primarily talking about here is the second call. So the first time I called in, it actually wasn't debate. It wasn't to debate politics or philosophy at all. I had been in the chat room of his YouTube channel during, I think, one of his previous shows, and people were just saying obnoxious things. Most famously, someone said that I was infertile. Just, I have no idea why, just some silly comments, which I didn't really care that much about the obnoxiousness. I kind of expect that on, channels of people who have very different ideas. But my issue was that I wasn't allowed to block those people. So I blocked some of these people who were making these rude, obnoxious comments. And then I announced in the chat room that I blocked these people. And then the moderator who saw that announcement said, "You have to unblock these people or he's going to block me." I don't know if you saw that call, but anyways, that was I wanted to talk to Sam about that because I didn't think that was a good policy to have for his chat room, that you're not allowed to block people who are being rude and obnoxious. You have to just sit there and listen to all that stuff. I don't see why that's a good idea. So I called about that. And then about a week later, I called back to discuss objectivism, no longer the chat room policy issue. But he picked up on it early in the call that, "Oh, aren't you the guy who called last week?" And said, "Yeah." And then there was this running joke about, "Oh, now you're the infertile guy who is calling," because that came up in the first call. Now, so the first call about the chat room was only about 10 minutes, like 8 minutes was the clip, I think, that ended up on their channel. These all got clipped and published on his channel. The second call was about half an hour, and that's the one where we debated objectivism, mostly its application to political philosophy. And then it was so that was late October. And then mid-December was my third call which was my last call so far to the Majority Report. I called in to discuss the island example, or a version of the island example that came up at the end of my second call. So now I've laid out the history of my calls, all of my 3 calls to Sam Seder so far. So going back to what we were discussing, so you had made a point about them not being honest, and I said, yeah, but there's a value in reaching more people in the audience, or building my own audience by reaching more people. It's not really about changing Sam's mind. And I forgot what you said after that.
I mean, I'm not sure. I appreciate that, it helps to build an audience. I think if you would like to do that, then in the best case scenario, you should do like an in and out kind of thing, like go in, give like a clear, concise message, and then say, "I have to go by." Because if like you stay, if you linger there for a little bit too long, they'll basically kind of like toying with. It's not a debate. It's like your entertainment for them. And from what you're describing, you're practically like a regular there now. Got 3 calls in. Anytime you want to go, they'll move you to the front of the line because they know you already. But it's your call essentially. Like you have to figure out what's best for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have thought about like what is different ways to optimize my appearances there. One thing I really liked about going on his show is how much time he gave me. I mean, the second call was almost half an hour, and this is a huge platform. And I mean, I don't know that there are that many hosts with that kind of audience size that lets just random people call in and stay on for that long. So I was actually quite pleased to be able to stay on there that long. I mean, you can get a lot more points in half an hour than you can in 3 or 4 minutes. So you do run the risk of them making fun of you and being condescending and that kind of thing. But I don't think that's the most important consideration. I think it's more important to get the truth out there. And actually, many people, I think even in his audience, were turned off by him, the way he conducted himself. If you look at some of the comments that people were writing, they're like, you know, I generally agree with you, but you know, you looked really bad. You came off bad, and you know, maybe he lost some fans, or at least some enthusiasm from some of his fans. And I think if I conduct myself in a dignified way, and he doesn't, then I mean, the people whose opinion I care about, they'll probably notice that. And so I don't really. I mean, I wouldn't have a discussion with someone who treated me like that in private, one-on-one, but because it doesn't have the upside of being able to reach thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, but because I can do that, I think that value outweighs the disvalue of, you know, putting up with some suboptimal behavior, to put it nicely, on his part.
I mean, I can appreciate. So if it was the case that with him making fun of you, he makes himself look bad, that's a plus for you. I mean, I think that because he has support and backup there, in the studio where he's in, then maybe he can like make himself look. I'm not sure, to be honest, but I mean, if it was me, but again, you, I, myself, and I had the opportunity to speak to someone like Sam Seder. To be honest, I didn't think of doing that, but let's say I did. I would try to get a message in, get like a message that I wanted to. If he says a joke, I would laugh with him, like, as in, it doesn't really affect me. And then I said, thank you for listening to me, and walk away. Similarly, there are some debates where I won't start or walk away midway because I have certain, I don't know, certain standards that I won't debate with people. I won't debate people who go below these standards. And if like it's not productive, and the guy I'm talking to is like a conspiracy theory nut, I'll be like, okay, this is going nowhere, and I'll end the debate. Not that this is what happened with you and Sam, but I'm just giving an example. But if you are planning on doing other similar things or debates in the future, is there something you wanted to discuss in terms of strategy or tactics or stuff like that?
Well, just one thought on something you said. You said something like, if you like doing this, okay, go for it. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like there's only one way to do these kinds of things, or that it's like just because I do this, everyone who's interested in objectivism or promoting objectivism should also do this.
We should all next Sam Seder, like we call him like 90 people like every day, like just like, I'm an objectivist, like hang next one. I'm also an objectivist, like one after the other.
Then maybe he'll start using the term objectivist instead of libertarians.
Maybe.
Even when you are an objectivist and say you're not a libertarian, he'll still call you a libertarian. But maybe if he gets enough people. Yeah, I mean, so not everyone is going to want to do the sort of thing I do, or even like that I am doing it. But I don't think there's just one way to go about this. People have different personalities. They have different goals in life. They have different concerns about being anonymous, non-anonymous. There are all kinds of considerations that go into this. Given my situation, I very much enjoyed having this opportunity, and even though a lot of people they think like I'm subjecting myself to all its ridicule, but I mean, if I know in my own mind that the ridicule is BS, then it just doesn't mean anything to me. I'm concerned with getting good ideas out there and reaching people who are open to good ideas. So all the buffoonery and the insults or the mockery, it's just silly. And I think people whose opinions matter, they're going to see through that. So I see it as a positive experience, and I want to do more of this kind of thing. I've got some more debates lined up, not with Sam Seder, although I would like to call back
don't
there.
Don't stop on Sam Seder. Just keep on banging, keep on like going at it. And then next time, by the way, he says, "Oh, you're the infertile one." Yeah. Next time, reply like this. Actually, Sam, I am infertile, and you're hurting my feelings by bringing this up. And I spoke to the rest of my infertile committee, and we're not very pleased with how you're putting us down. I mean, it's very insensitive of you, and just like go like that.
Yeah, lean into the joke. I mean, I could do something like that. When he brought it up in my third call, I guess this is the one you haven't heard yet, I just kind of brushed it off. But my phone, there was some disconnection in my phone for just a couple seconds, so you couldn't really hear what I said. I was just, I said, I'm the guy who, we talked about objectivism a few weeks ago. You remember that call? And he said, "Oh, you're the guy with fertility issues," or something like that. And then I just said, "Sure, if that's what you want to think." Anyway, and then I went on with my points. But when I said, "Sure, if you want to think that, that's fine," that part there was some disconnection in the line, so you can't really hear that. But anyways, I just kind of ignored it because I had higher priorities, more important things to discuss than that silliness.
Maybe
so
we'll invite you on the show, maybe like a face-to-face interview.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll get to that point.
Maybe you'll be like a legend of the show.
Yeah, someone actually, or maybe more than one person, called me a legend in the chat room, at least. I've been made a meme. There's a bunch of posts on Reddit about me, on the not just the Majority Report Reddit, but other left-wing or BreadTube, as they're called, Reddit pages. So yeah, I got quite a reputation in their community. Some people were saying like this was the best call of the year, or one of the top ones. So it's very memorable for good or bad reasons, depending on your point of view. But anyway, yeah, I do plan to do more of it. It actually was not easy to get back on the third time. So after the call that you heard, the second call, it took me like 7 weeks, I think, to get back on. And I was calling back in like almost every day they had a show. And I was trying tricks like going into the Discord and asking their moderators if they can highlight my call or do something to notify Sam that, it's me, because he likes to debate libertarians, or at least people who are close. So you would think he would want to take those calls. I was tweeting at Sam a couple times in those 7 weeks to ask him if he wanted to continue the debate, and I emailed them, and I never got any reply, but then finally, mid-December, he decided to take my call again. So I don't know if he was purposely ignoring me, or he had no idea it was me calling, or what. But anyways, it was much harder to get on the third time than it was the second time. I don't know how it's going to go the fourth. Actually, for my next call, the fourth call, if there ever is one, I think I'm going to call on a Thursday, because at the end of the second call, the show producer, Matt Leck, the voice you hear off screen sometimes, he said, he actually suggested that I call back in to talk about A equals A. That's how he put it. So this is, you know, a motif in Ayn Rand's writing, well, Atlas Shrugged in particular, this idea of A is A.
I'm familiar.
If for the audience, I know you know, I'm sure you know this, so in Atlas Shrugged, there's this theme of A is A, and that's the name of one of the parts of the book. And so the show producer said he wants to talk to me about that, and he suggested I call back in on Thursday, because that's the day that Sam usually takes off each week. So one of these Thursdays, I think I will try to call in and have a discussion about that.